The Fantasia Gamble.
That's right, Gordon. And the very important thing is we've been through every kind of match imaginable with these guys. And yes, the match is a gamble because should we win, it might not be Robert and I. It might be Robert and Junkyard Dog, maybe me and Junkyard Dog, or maybe it will be me and Robert. But regardless, the main point is that the winner of the first fall, as far as I'm concerned, is the man that's going to have the advantage because that puts the other man locked in the corner on handcuffs and the other man free. It means like 3 against 2. But I think that the first fall will be in our advantage for one important reason. There will be one free bird when that bell rings, handcuffed to that post. That means there will only be 2 of them to start out with, which is to our advantage because most of the time there's 3.
I will say this to Ted, and I mean this in all honesty, Ted. Whether it winds up myself and the dog, or you and the dog, or you and I, or whatever, it's been the greatest partner.
In my time, you know, traveling in every major city, there is people that contractual people, you understand, managers, for say. You know, I be sitting on my main squeeze the other night, and she be bringing over my little snuff, and I take a little dip, laid back, sipping on some cool vintage wine, you understand, and the fireplace just roaring up, and the skiers skiing by outside my chalet, you understand? And I got to thinking about them. I got thinking who was the baddest, you know. There's a lot of bad ones, but I think there's one really weasel, one real bad manager, as they say. Stooge in some circles, you understand? There's nothing I can't do. When I tell you I do it, I do it. Now, whether you like the way I do it or not, it happens. Now, come time in the Omni, when the national title is at stake and the Mongolian Stompers step in there with the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and I'm thinking about what a good time I'm going to be having dancing on his bald head, I'm going to be thinking about Don Carson, the sneakiest, low-lifest stooge. And you heard it? Yeah, I said it. Woo, did I say it? So, talking like I got a list. Imitate me. Saying I talk with the phone, I'm going to get him in the Omni.
All the American Dream is going to get is a dream itself. That match went 1 minute and 45 seconds, and the only reason that it did, we want to show Dusty Rhodes. Show Dusty Rhodes something. Dusty Rhodes, it's dream time. The closer that you're going to get to that belt is going to be where you are right now. That's as far as you'll get. I'll sit right there. I won't worry about it.
We'll find out tomorrow night.
Sullivan. And our personality profile this week concerns the fact that Kevin Sullivan not only is the national television champion, but during this past week went into an entirely different kind of competition.
I certainly did. You know, last Saturday was a big day for me. I regained the belt that rightfully is mine. I inherited this belt from Divine Right, Gordon. This belt is mine from Divine Right.
Well, I would like to talk, if you don't mind, I would like to talk about the fact that you went to Tennessee and won some bodybuilding competition.
Well, last Saturday, I went to Athens, Tennessee, and won the Mr. Tennessee contest. I won the most muscular. I won best legs and best back. You know, it's been a hard road for me since I've been here. You know, you people have always been talking about Tony Atlas, what he's got. Well, take a look at this, Tony Atlas. You're not the only one, Steve Kern. You know, I want to get back to Steve Kern for a minute, you know, because I think I am the strongest professional wrestler, the best built professional wrestler, and by far the smartest one.
Well, I wonder if you wouldn't mind doing us a favor. I know that you have to go through certain poses.
I'd gladly do it for you, Gordon.
All right, I'd like to have the people see just exactly. We've been noticing, Kevin, over the past several months, the tremendous muscular definition and conformation.
That was what won me the best back, Gordon. And that is what won me the best legs and chest and every most muscular. But getting back to Steve Kern, you know, I was in Knoxville last week and talking to my good friend Doc Haskins and Dirty George Cavaleris, and they were telling me that this man has a lot of guts. You know, I have to admit one thing. The last time we met was a Boston street fight match, and it took me 3 days to get out of bed, so I know it had to take him a week. And you know what they told me? George and Professor Haskins, they told me this guy has a lot of guts. But the lovely Miss Florence came in, and she's got it real clear. She says, this guy doesn't got guts. He's 12 loads short.
Well,
this man is sick. This man
I would like to get back to the fact. How many hours a day have you been working out to get yourself in this kind of condition?
Since August, Gordon, I started a severe training program. I'm not going to say that I'm the only wrestler that trains hard. There's 1,000 wrestlers in the country, and 90% of them train as hard or harder than any professional athletes. Mongolian Stomper, I got to give Kern credit. Steve O, there's a lot of talented people. But I started training 2 hours a day, 7 days a week since August, and I haven't had a day off, Gordon.
And since then, you've won the Tennessee competition.
Gordon, I'm going to go on to bigger and better things, and I'm going to go in this ring and whip him right now because this man's got something in my side. This man, I am going to prove either this man got a lot of guts or he's crazy, and I think this man is crazy.
Thank you so very much. Kevin Sullivan, who won the bodybuilding competition and seems to have somewhat of a one-track mind right now. Let's turn it over to our ring announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a title match for the National TV Championship. One fall, 15-minute time limit. Introducing first from Boston, Massachusetts, weighing in at 220 pounds, the National TV Champion, Kevin Sullivan. The opponent, the challenger from Tampa, Florida, weighing in at 229 pounds, Steve Kern.
Steve Kern going up against Kevin Sullivan. And, of course, you know, Sullivan was talking about winning that title last week. There's some controversy around that, too. A lot of ringsiders, and I did not catch it on television, and I'm not sure it was on. I'm going to have to review the video on it. But I had several people tell me today that they thought that Sullivan had Steve-O by the trunks. Now, I can't verify that. Oh, wow, look at this ride by Kern. Kern, beautiful ride now, trying to turn Sullivan. Notice the way Sullivan hooked that leg. Sullivan counter wrestling now, Kern after him. Both of them back to the basics. Ooh. Kern, there's some more of that psychological warfare. Hip lock takedown, but Sullivan got him with a head scissors. Kern turned that to his own advantage momentarily. Look at the way Kern turned in, tried to reverse Nelson the head of Kevin Sullivan. Now Sullivan underhooks the arm, had to break his hold. Now it's Sullivan turning into his man. Good, a beautiful float over by Kern. Blocked that very, very nicely. Kern with the ride now. Hooks back of the knee. Again, a float over by Kern. And both men back on the mat. Sullivan turns to his man, Kern. Very much the aggressor thus far. Remember, of course, Sullivan has time on his side. And again, there's Kern floating over, starting the ride. Partial post to the arm. Now Sullivan. Bottom wrist locks the arm. Kern. Again. Floats over. Front chancery now by Steve Kern. Inside cradle by Kern. One. Tried for the quick pin, and Sullivan back on his feet. Good back out by Kern as Sullivan went for the near leg. Kern backed away. Lateral drop and takedown from that bottom wrist lock. And so, Kevin Sullivan, the National Television Championship on the line here. And Kern is keeping the pressure on Sullivan. He is pushing the fight to it. Kern smashed into that turnbuckle now. Sullivan, then by the hair, all of a sudden Sullivan taking the shortcut. And it is Kern retaliating. A boot to the midsection, a beautiful forearm to the side of the head. Snap mare and a rear chin lock.
Get your hands off his head.
All right, Kern has the hammerlock. Notice the way he wings it now into a bottom wrist lock hammerlock. Winging through now, comes out on the other side. So Sullivan on the canvas, and so Kern. Apparently, Kern's theory is to wear him down Keep him tied up. Let Sullivan expend his energy.
We don't care.
Sullivan caught him with an elbow, then came off with a good shoulder smash. Kern hooked the arm. A swinging takedown.
Punch him in the arm. Go ahead, hit him.
Kern mounts more pressure on Sullivan. Remember, Sullivan is the national television champion.
Get off his leg, you freak.
The time is his ally, not Kern's. Into the ropes. And Kern again, some more of that psychological warfare. Where Steve-O was doing it with comments to his competitor, Kern is now doing it with little slaps across the head. Got him with a forearm that time. Arm twist and stretch here. Overhooks the head. Kern drives him back to the ropes. Sullivan, clean break. And Kern leaning. Wow! Sullivan caught him. Sullivan caught him coming in. And Kern has been shaken. Sullivan catching him again. So Sullivan now seizing the advantage here and pressing that advantage. Jolting right hand to the forehead. Another one to the back of the head. A boot to the rib cage by Sullivan. Sullivan now flat of the foot to the forehead. Smashes Steve Kern into that turnbuckle. Kern smashed into that turnbuckle again. Got him with an elbow coming off the ropes. Lateral press. Kern powers out. And so, Sullivan has stemmed the rising tide thus far of Steve Kern, and now seems to be turning that tide around. Tried to leapfrog him. Ooh, off those ropes. And Sullivan off of those ropes as Kern caught him, and Sullivan tried to leapfrog him. Kern caught him coming in. Brings him up now, and Steve Kern has Sullivan in a lot of trouble here. A shoulder breaker, back to the mat. Vertical press, but again Sullivan. And Sullivan outside the ring. Outside the ring, and Sullivan in trouble now. So the national television champion, Kevin Sullivan, in a lot of trouble out there. And he's still outside the ring, coming back. No, sir. He broke the count. Broke the count. And it is Sullivan favoring that shoulder. He has broken the count again. Starts to get into the ring. And Kern now becoming irate over the fact that Sullivan is deliberately stalling here. And again breaks. Now, wait a minute. Kern's out of the ring after him. Steve Kern has gone out of the ring after Kevin Sullivan. He's brought him back into the ring. Now, Sullivan. Now, Sullivan fighting for his life, and now it's Sullivan. Outside the ring again and again. Steve Kern is after him. Sullivan back in the ring now. Sullivan catching Kern coming in. And now Steve Kern giving all he's got to Kevin Sullivan, and Sullivan's in trouble. And the referee trying to break that one up, thrown aside by Steve Kern. And again, Kern hurdles the referee aside. All he wants is Sullivan. The referee calling for the bell. The referee calling for the bell. Indicating he is disqualifying Steve Kern. He has disqualified Steve Kern for Kern's manhandling of himself. The referee acting here, and I certainly can't say that I blame him. Steve Kern's temper got the best of him. And Kevin Sullivan coming up very slowly. And Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan now seems to be regaining some of that courage. but he certainly obviously broke that count several times. Broke the count on numerous occasions. An obvious stalling ploy. And Steve Kearns finally lost his cool entirely. Took after Sullivan, had him. The referee tried to break it up. And as he did, Kearns just hurdled him to one side. He tried to break it up a second time, and the referee took the only justifiable action that I could think of at that particular point.
Tommy?
Oh, I interrupt you, Gordon. I'm sorry. But let me tell you something. Every time I've been out here on television for a television title, the guy's either dumped me over the top or he's got out and tried to stall out the time. Well, today, maybe I got disqualified. Maybe I was in the wrong as far as the rules go. But Sullivan, you little rat, you can run, you can hide, but I'm not going to quit and I'm not going to give up because you have that TV title. You are the champion, but you ain't going to hang on to it as long as I'm after you because I'm going to follow you out of the ring. The last time I was in the Omni with Sullivan, I was in a Boston street fight. I've never been in one in my life. I fought Kevin Sullivan to the top of the building almost in that Omni.
Sure did. I saw it.
The next time I wrestle Kevin Sullivan, if I have to fight him at the top of the building, out on the street, all the way down to the Capitol building, I'll fight him. But I'm going to beat you, Sullivan. Remember that. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to take your TV title, and I'm going to put it right around my waist. If I have to follow you around the ring 100 times.
Steve, I can appreciate how you feel. It must be very frustrating, and I'll tell you what, I think perhaps I'd like to give you a couple of minutes to calm down and to regain your senses regarding that situation. There was no question in my mind. He kept breaking the count, so he...
So, Gordon, why can't he stay in the ring? He's got to stay in the ring till one man loses. I can accept defeat if I'm beat. I'll stay in the ring if I have to. But if he can't stay in the ring, he ain't got no business wrestling. I heard him talking about such a great bodybuilder. This is not bodybuilding. This is professional wrestling, not bodybuilding. I don't care what he looks like. I don't care if he's short, fat. And besides, anybody from the winds of East Tennessee, big deal.
Well, okay, Steve.
All right, opportunity to not just flap your jaws, but get out there and flap around in that ring a little bit. And you're not going to have two guys to soften up some little fella so you can beat on him. You're going against some big fellas, and talking about the Junkyard Dog, DiBiase, and myself, and we are looking so much forward to that match, you just wouldn't believe it, son.
You know, Hayes, I just had a match here with a young kid who's got a lot of guts, but, you know, I went out here and I went out to beat him, and I beat the boy. But I didn't come out here and try to cripple him or maim him like I saw you and the Freebirds do a little earlier today. There is no place in wrestling for that. I don't think you're sexy, Hayes. I think you're sick. And I think that this match is sick, because when it comes down to handcuffing two men in a corner in this profession to keep one out of the ring, it's pretty sad. Well, if you want to be sick and get sick, we're going to get sick tomorrow night in the Omni, and you're going to see another side of us.
About tomorrow. I'm sorry. I thought Kevin Sullivan was coming out.
All right, Gordon. I owe you an apology, too, for coming out here and screaming, because you know that I don't usually carry on this way, but I've been a little upset because of the way things have happened to me. But I will say this, that tomorrow night in the Omni, I'm wrestling Kevin Sullivan. And there isn't going to be any running. I'm going to beat Kevin Sullivan. I don't make promises, but I'm promising everybody that comes that I am going to beat Kevin Sullivan. Not only am I going to beat him, I'm going to take that national TV title away from him. And if he wants to know where I'm at tonight or any other time, tonight I'll be in Carrollton if you're looking for me, Sullivan. So come and find me.
Jim Duggan.
Duggan, as you see, is carrying a football helmet. Let me explain that he was injured, had suffered a head injury, and was told that he could has been given permission to wear protective headgear. This is rather bizarre. I did not expect him to come out there with a football helmet on, however. I expected him to come out with some sort of protective headgear, much as you'd use in amateur wrestling or in amateur boxing. But Duggan has a Duggan, rather. All right, but he's being warned very carefully by the referee that... So he is... And Charlie Cook questioning once again. Well, all right, let's see what happens here, but... And beautiful move by Charlie Cook. He just stepped under and ducked to one side. And Charlie still
unusual situation. And again, Cook ducks away very smooth. Cook, of course, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Come on, cockeyed!
Up against those ring ropes, a good clean break by Charlie Cook. Charlie Cook now. Keeping Duggan tied up. Up against those ropes once again. Referee will be calling for the break. Once again, they lock up collar and elbow. And it is Cook with a hammerlock on Duggan.
Get that helmet off!
Duggan, who is a New York amateur wrestling champion and a number of years in professional football. And thus far, neither man has really been able to gain much advantage, although Charlie Cook would hold, I think, if you're going by points, he would certainly hold some points on Jim Duggan. Cook keeping that hammerlock. Duggan tried to get a leg, could not. Now finally gets to the ropes and gets that leg outside.
Wave his whole body up.
All right, once again, Charlie Cook moves in. He missed with that right hand. Cook was ahead of him that time. And Duggan tried a hard looping right hand, but Charlie Cook deftly dodged it. Again, collar and elbow, and again it is Charlie Cook with a full arm stretch and twist here. So Duggan having his problems. Keeping the arm stretch and twist on Duggan. Duggan has the pressure on him. Liable to have more than an injured head by the time Charlie Cook is done with him, as he is giving those deltoids a lot of punishment now. And Duggan now rips across the eyes of Charlie Cook. Comes down with a forearm across the back. And it's Duggan now, uncorking those right hands. Duggan caught him with his shoulder again, 3 times with the shoulder of the midsection. Duggan, a forearm across the chest. Duggan now moving much more effectively. Charge that time, and again, Charlie Cook deftly dodged him and moved to one side. Charlie Cook now continues to punish the deltoids of Jim Duggan. So Duggan, and now Duggan beginning to really feel that pain in the shoulder. Cook again, a headbutt to the deltoids, and now keeps the arm bar, cinches down on it.
Grab him out of the face, man, Charlie, and pull him all around the ring. Get it, Charlie, get it, face man, Charlie. Break, fine. Face man, Charlie.
Forearm across the chest, another forearm across the chest by Duggan. Off the ropes, Duggan caught him with an elbow. Duggan down across the chest once again, Duggan. No, sir. Is into the ropes. Trying to utilize those ring ropes for some extra leverage. Now forearm across the chest. Another forearm across the chest. Charlie Cook smashes the turnbuckle. Duggan again with a forearm across the chest. Again, the referee moves in to separate them. They're into the ropes, but they're away from the ropes now.
Yeah, how about that, you
Cook still caught on that arm bar. And Duggan got some extra leverage that time. He got some extra leverage, took him off his feet. All right, Duggan driving that knee into the biceps and triceps of Charlie Cook. Duggan again drives that knee into the arm of Charlie Cook. And so, Duggan has been utilizing that arm bar very effectively. Again, Duggan with a takedown, but again, as you can see, he's getting extra leverage there. But he waits until the referee is not in a position to be able to see it happen. He's a great one for going for the shortcuts. Charlie Cook again, trying to battle his way back to his feet. Across the chest as he drove that chin back, and Cook catches him in the arm. Charlie Cook firing away to the rib cage, catches him again, and Duggan's got some problems now. Charlie Cook catching him across the chest once again. Arm whips into the far turnbuckle. Charlie Cook moves in on his man. Good high hip toss by Charlie Cook, and Charlie sets now. Charlie Cook caught him, a good tackle. Another good block by Charlie Cook coming from that four-point stance. And it was Charlie Cook, a well-executed flying drop kick. Duggan lashes out to the midsection. Charlie Cook with a side headlock. Ooh. They collided, and it was Charlie Cook catching that helmet. Charlie Cook caught that helmet in the side of the head. Charlie Cook is stunned. Duggan outside the ring. The count is on. Count is on. 6, 7. Caught him with a direct headbutt that time. Caught him outside the ring. Caught him outside the ring, and so Duggan used that and speared his man. Speared him. He was back in the ring before the count of 10. And so, by virtue of what has happened, Duggan claims the victory here. It'll go in the record books as that, but certainly not a good situation at all. But the winner is Jim Duggan.
You're right about that, Gordon. I got something to say, Jim Duggan. Let me tell you something, boy. You come out here wearing a football helmet, complaining about your head be hurting. But let me tell you something. Right now, my head is hurting, Jack, and you want to get it on? Come on, knock